どうも、コンコンでございます。ザ・スタンリープラブル、パラブルかなごめん。どっちか忘れちゃった。やっていきます。よいしょ。で一応ね、日本語の字幕が出るようになってるんだけど、ちょっとね、漢字が読めない時がありますので、よろしくお願いいたします。
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
サンリーという男の物語。
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
なるほど。
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley.Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid,Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
ということで、宮野さん、カデルさん、シオヨンさん、コンコンです。簡単に言うと、毎日指示のある、このね、仕事をずっとしてたのに、今日はなぜか指示が来ないというところからの始まりみたいです。なんかぬるぬるだな動きが。でこの同僚たちは誰ともいなくなっていました。音でかいかな。ごめんね、ちょっと音でかいかもね。なんてね。誰もおらんね。でこのナレーションに従って動くゲームらしいんだけど、彼は左のドアに入りました。会議室には誰もいません。
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office,
上司のオフィ
hoping
ス
he
に行
might
くことに
find
し
an
ました。
answer there.
なんて書いてあるんだろう。読めんのよな。
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
階段を登っ
upstairs
て
to his boss's office.
上司のオフィスに向かいます。はい。すごいな。全然違うんだけど。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him.
上司の隠してきた恐ろしい事実を持っている。キーパッドには 2845。あ、違う。
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2845。
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
適当のコードだったんだ。あ、そっか、で
He
も。
stepped into the newly opened passageway.
だから主人公はこのナレーションの声聞こえないんだな。すごっ。これ何したらいいんだ。ちょっと暗いか。だってね、ちょっと配信暗いか。よいしょ。ちょっと待ってな。こんな暗くなるとね、思ってなかったわ。 だけ明るくします。よいしょ。これか。いや、音でかいな。いや、大丈夫か。お、労働中だ。よいしょ。で、今、ナレーションに従ってるんだけど、なんか、ナレーションを無視することもできるみたいな。まるで初めて自分の考えを持ったような。
When for years it had never occurred to him. This question would not go unanswered for long.
この答えはもうすぐ明らかになるでしょう。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large
マインド
door
コン
that
トロール
read
施設。
Mind Control Facility.
まっすぐ進みました。でもエスケープってあるんだけどめっちゃ気になるこれ。葵さんコンコン。これは
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
すごいな。マインドコントロール施設だって。
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers, the lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place.
常にこの場所で監視されていたのです。あ、一応しゃがめるんだ。
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
今頃だけど字幕読める？僕もう読める体で配信やってたけど。
No. He refused to believe it.
違う、彼はそんな考えを振り返りました。
His own life
自分の人生が何者かにコントロールされていた。
Never.
あり
It
え
was
ない。
unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible?
そう
Had
や
he
な。
truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions.
喜び、悲しみ、満足ラベルボタン。
Or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
おー、すごいな。なんか思ったより壮大な物語だねこれ。あ、マインドコントロールのこれ電源か。システムパワーオフ。お、あ、動けるわ。ん？動けるけどなんあ。
And a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go,
めちゃ綺麗なんだけど。
or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
どこへ行くべきか何をするべきかどう感じるか。
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
スタンリーは開いた扉から足を踏み出しました。
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path
これがグッ
before
ドエン
him.
ドなのかな。
This was exactly the way,
まさに
right
今
now,
時間は進み始めたのです。
things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
スタンリーは幸せでした。これがトゥルーエンドだね。じゃあ、こっからだ。こっから、むちゃくちゃする
All
よ
of。his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go
ま
to
ず
the meeting
は
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
そうやね。最初左に行きましたを右に行くか。
When Stanley came to a set of two
彼
open
は左の
doors,
ドアに
he
入りま
entered
し
the
た。
door on his left.
Okay.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
右行っちゃったけど。あ、何も言われんな、でも。
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been
そうやね。
worth the
回り道して
detour
よかっ
after
た
all,
わ。
just to spend a few moments here in this
いい部屋だね。
immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
スタンリーは立ったままこの空間をじっくり味わいました。いや、
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open
ス
door
タンリーは
on
廊
his
下の
left.
左側の最初のドアを通りました。いやいやいやいやいやいや。まあまあまあまあまあ。アンジさん、今
Stanley
後、
was so bad at following directions,
ス
it's
タンリーは言われた
incredible
通
he
りする
wasn't
のがと
fired
ても苦
years
手でした。
ago.
逆らってくよ、ナレーションに。これ何？
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
もしかしたら私たちは進み道を間違えてしまったのではないか。
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stan.
降りれんのかな？
Someone you've forgotten about. Please. What? Really? I was in the middle
悪い
of
ことを企んでると思ってるの。やばい、切れ出したナレーションが。話の途中だっただろ。
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful.
やばい、切れ出してる。
Let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
私は君の味方だということを証明しよう。私にチャンスをください。チャンス？嫌だよ。
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley
スタンリ
walked
ーは
through the red door.
赤いドアを通りました。いやいやいやいやいや。やっぱ青。
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red
戻されたん
door.
だが。いやいやいや、僕は青に行きたいんだ。
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
赤いドアを通りました。いや、通らないよ。
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've
普通に怒っ
chosen?
とる。
Well, don't let me stop you.
私はもう止めませんよ。
You see? There's nothing here.
ほらね、ここ
I
には
haven't
何
even
もありませ
finished
ん。
building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer
めたいな。
textures. Is this what you had wanted?
これ
Was
が
it
君の
worth
望むもので
ruining
す。
the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange,
どんなゲームだったら満
unknowable
足でしたか？
desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can
当
give
て
me
つっ
some
ぽで新しい
feedback.
デザインを試してみるので、君の
There
感
we
想を聞
go.
かせてくだ
A
さい。
third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
お？3択？明らかにここ行けって言われてるけど、いや僕は左の道で行くわ。なんか嫌だわ、あれ。お、
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
どういうこと？欲しいのこれ。
A one? I mean, I can
1点ですか？
understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be
そういうことね。
improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a one? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge.
これ評価だったんか。
Based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
こっちに行かなかったんかな。
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers,
いや、
please.
何も変わってないから評価は
Hey,
1
I
です
nearly
ね。
forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity
私
to
が取
give
り
it
組んで
some
る新しいゲー
playtesting.
ムの試作品
You
がある。
wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
テスト
Perfect.
プレイをし
Let
ても
me
らうには
boot
いつ
it
書い
up.
た？
In this game, the baby crawls left towards
赤ちゃ
danger.
んが炎に向かってハイハイしていきます。ボタンを押すと赤ちゃんは右に戻ります。
And if he reaches the fire,
赤ちゃんが炎に触れて
fail.
しまうと君の負
It's
け
a。very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've
この
been
ゲームを
playing
持
it
つメッ
for
セージ
about
性を理解する
4
には4
hours.
時間ほどプレ
So
イする
why
必要があ
don't
り
you
ます。
give it 4 hours of play
有用
to
かどう
make
か確
sure
認
it's
される4時間
effective?
プレイしてみ
Be
ては。
sure to keep notes on your experience.
あ、なるほどね。いってらっしゃい。
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate
赤ん坊
babies
が
or
嫌いなんです
purely
か？
to
それとも
spite
純粋に
me?
私を困らせる
Because
た
if
めに
it's
やっ
the
たんです
latter,
か？
well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. It's over.
これ絶対
Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain.
むっちゃ怒りやん。
What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
これ4時間押した動画とかあるんだろうなとか。
Well, Stanley,
マ
is
イ
this
ン
any
クラフ
better?
トなんだけど
At。last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley.
マインクラフトなんだ
Will
け
it
ど。
ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create
私は
to
家を
fulfill a
建
greater
築します。
artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house.
僕動けないんで、もうこれ。
This will go here, no, here, and then.
超楽しそうだね、この人。
Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off.
最後の仕上げに、
It's
これが私の作品
complete.
です。
I made this stand.
私の芸術作品によって自分の不甲斐なさを発して
Gaze
くださ
upon
い。
my work of art and feel ashamed at your own
ジョージ怒ってんだけど、この
inadequacy.
人。
But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only
これじゃあ
gotten
君は
half the
外から見てるだけですね。
experience.
もっと
Step
体験しない
inside
とどうぞ
and
中
make
にくつろい
yourself
でください。
comfortable.
ここ入らなかったらどうなるんだろう。なんか、すごいな。ちゃんとマイクラだな。いや、これ入らんって選択肢あんのかな。いや、でも、進まんかな。これジャンプできたらな、いろんなとこ行ってみたいんだけど。あ、ちょっと待ってね、ごめん。もう行くしかないみたいだね。
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if. Wait.
ダ
That's
イヤ
it.
モンド。
We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything.
掘れるん
Yes,
か。
yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
マイニング。お、すごい。この BGM 聞こえないかな。なんかマイクラじゃないんだけど、マイクラっぽい BGM が流れてるんだけど。
Oh my. It looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
あれは持ってきましたか？持ってないよ。やっぱ取れないか。お、すごい。
Oh, no, 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 no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind.
私が探
I'm
してるの
looking
は
for
もっと
something
一
more
本
narrow
道で。
and linear. Something that makes you
自分
feel
が全く
utterly
介入できないものがいいん
irrelevant.
です。
This
この
will
作
do
品
it
ではダメ
all,
ですね。
1 out of 5.
待て待て待て待て待て。
Even the diamonds couldn't save this one.
待て待て待て。
Okay, new game.
あ、マイクラしたかった、普通に。お、いいぞ。何のゲームか知らないけど、これ。いや、これ見たことあるな、僕。
Trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
うおー、すごっ。やっぱ絶対ポータルやん、これ。見たことあるもんだって、これ。
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
来た来た来た。うわ、すごっ。なんか
Genius.
賢いですね。めっちゃ煽って
No,
くる。
actually, you know what? I think that's plenty.
いやいやいや
I
いや
really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect video game, you can just sit there and let it ball up in...
やべ。無視して来てしまった。え、何この部屋。ベータ。んうわ、暗っ。なんも見えん。なんもないよな。んいや、もうなんもないわ。これもう落ちるしかできないのかな。おう。あ、戻ってきたね、オフィスに。あ、いけなかった。なんか、足音が芝生みたいな音するんだけど。お。僕って何番だっけ ?4、8何ぼだったっけ覚えて、あ。これいけないのか。開かないな。あ、帰ってきた。ただいま。んなんだあ、
I wonder what he found.
彼は何を見つ
If
けたん
what
だ
he
ろう。
wanted was to be the leading man in his own
自
story,
分の
well,
物語
perhaps
の
he's
主役になるこ
got
とだったら、
it down in wherever he is right now. I
彼が
wonder
ど
if
こに
he's
いようと
happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion.
ゴムエンドっ
That's
てこ
who
と
I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
閉じ込められエンドってことあすごいな。マイクラとかポータ
All
ル
of
出て
his
きたんだけど。
co-workers were gone.
待ってこれ
What could it mean?
分岐どんな
Stanley
キャンだろ
decided
こ
to
れ。
go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
じゃあ どうしようかな、まあ、エスケープ行ってみ
When
るか。
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
確か
Yet there was not a single person here either.
これ走るパ
Feeling
ター
a
ンないの
wave
か。
of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
オフィス行って、あ、待って。こっちもあるのか。あ、開いたんだけど。え、いけんの？どんだけ分岐あんのこのゲーム。あ、読めない。読めない。帰ることはできないよな。おお、いける。待って、エレベーターあるんだけど。いいの？全然違うけど、さっきと。エンディング18個。これどうなんの？どこここ。あ、戻ってきたな。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to
これ他の番
nobody.
号ないのか
He
な。
began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a
なんだっけ、
keypad
番号。
behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer
この中
luck.
に入れるのか。
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened
で
passageway.
踏み入れて、確かここの最後のとこ行くところの前に分岐があったんだよ、エスケープって。ちょっとそこ行ってみようかな。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word
するにエスケー
escape
プと書かれ
on
てい
it,
ました。
the
実際の
truth
ところ、この奥
was
で待
that
ち構え
at
てい
the
るの
end
は
of
ス
this
タンリーに
hall,
非常な死
Stanley
なの
would
です
meet
が、
his violent death.
死ぬの？
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
やっぱ正しい道に行かせようとする
At
んだ
this
ね。
point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
ほい。どうなる？おい。生きとるよ。
As the machine whirred into
機械が動
motion,
き出し、死に向
Stanley
かっ
was
て近づく
inched
中で。
closer and closer to his demise.
あ、
It
そういう
reflected
こ
that
と？
his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow
マジで？
vision
これ
of what this world is. Perhaps
もう何もで
it's
きんってこと？
of no great loss, like plucking the
やばい。
eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
いや、無理か。お？
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
あ、え、そんなことなかった。生きとるよ。
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
え、
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit
スター
start?
トボタンを押した瞬間がすでに死んでいる。全然違うんだけど。ナレーターをナレーションに操作されたって、そんなこれ僕のオフィスか。ゲーム冒頭のオフィスの模型です。スタンリーは仕事場から2つのドアまでの道のりがゲーム開発の初期に作られました。その後各セクションの追加や変更を行いましたが、基本的にレイアウトは初期のままです。だね、こっから、この2つの道やね。冒頭のペース配分は重要で、このツールはプレイヤーが2つのドアにちょうどいいタイミングでたどり着けるように調整されています。この2つのドアは、デザインの中でもごく初期に固められた要素です。ゲーム中のボタンの効果音。これ読めないか。あ、これは裏の裏ってやつ？開発段階の上司のオフィス。なんか急に美術館みたいなね。初期バージョンの地下施設。ナレーターの声を担当したなんだ2年間開発期間中のゲーム全体のセリフをおよそ3回に分けて録音しました。流れてるゲーム本編の未登場のエコ音声。これ何しやいいんだ？このゲームのアルファ版でフリーダムエンディングの最初の形になったものです。すごい面白い。初期バージョンカウントダウンエンディング。カウントダウンエンディング？これはベータ版に存在したフリーダムエンディング。モニタールームのエレベーターはフリーダム、上がフリーダム、下がカウントダウンというように上も下も行けるようになっています。カウントダウンルーム？待って、そこやってないんだけど僕多分。
Oh, look at these two.
この
How
二人を見て
they
ください。
wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
このゲームのオンオフ、ちょっと待って、他見たいわ。あった。まあ、いいか。行くか。待って、18個？なんか、他になんか、でもあれか。下に降りなかった時の道があるか、せよ。じゃあ、やらせていただきます。
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail.
あなたはまだ二人を救うことができます。エスケープ。あ、そういうこと。これでメインメニュー戻れってこと。今すぐ停止してください。いや。あ。死んだ？あ、もう戻るしかできなくなってる。うわ。死亡エンド。
Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
待って。あと武器あるか？
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
いや、ちょっと一回これスルーして。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
これこっち降りれるんかな？
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley left from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
指示が嫌で自殺エンドになっちゃった。
All of his co-workers were gone.
じゃああれだね、エレベーター乗って渡った先のエンドを見るか、次は。普通に降りれるんだね、あれ。なんか魔法の壁でもあるかと思ったんだけど。
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
もしかしてあれなんかな、この最初に行ったルート超ひねくれルートだったんかな。
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please. Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
彼女が待っていますよ。おお、びっくりした。
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
君がやるべきことは彼女に手を差し伸べることです。
If you can truly place your faith in another,
他人の心から信じるできるというなら電話を取ってください。抜ける？もしかして。抜けた。
A white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one. Wait. Oh goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to the apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices?
意味は
What did
一
you...
体
Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person.
君は現実の人間だ。
I can't believe I was so mistaken.
Yeah,
This is
悟られ
why
た。
you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you
君に
made
この
any
ゲーム
more
の中で
wrong
走り回るのを維
choices,
持
you
してい
might
た
have
とは。
negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real
教育ビデオを
world.
ご覧ください。
Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But
急
if
に
used incorrectly,
なん
can
か始まったん
also
だけ
be
ど。
the most dangerous. For example, in
はい。
this scenario, a hypothetical real person named
何言ってるかわ
Stephen
からん。
has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished
ちょっとおまん
third
じゅう食べ
world
ていい？
nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every
ちょっと
orphan living in a
何
30
言ってるか
kilometer
わかんないか
radius
ら
of his
さ。
house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself
なんか配
speaking
信
with a
中
person who does
なんか
not
食べる
make
の初めて
sense,
かもしれ
in
ない。
all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back sack and crack."
終わった？
Excellent. Making choices on a
終
regular
わってないわ。
basis is the best part to a healthy
おまんじゅう
decision-making
食べてます。
process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has
こ
begun
の部
to
屋が物語に夢
deteriorate
中になって
as a
劣化し
result
始
of
めてる。
narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
あのビデオ見てもわからんかったからな。ごめんな。正しい選択ができるかはちょっとわかんないかもしれない。ワンスターリンって単語が誕生した名作？そうなの？ん？これ乗ればいいのか。
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the
もう
main
防止されてる
character
降りる
dying
ことを。
senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
さっきは教育ビデオを見せたくせにもう動けないようにされてる。あ、もう戻るしかできないのかな。
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left.
君は左のドアを選択して正しいエンディングに戻り
The
ま
story will
す。
have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real
物語は
world.
揺るぎないものとなり、君は現実世界に戻るのです。待って、これ抜け道探したいな。
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door
これは
on his
左のドアに
left.
入りました。えこれまだ抗えるのか。
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
またやばい。さすがに無理か。あ、ももさん今後 何回もいけんのかな。あ、もう喋ってくんないか。さすがにね、もう無理か。開かないかな、こういうとこ。うわ。
It's ruined. I can't believe after everything we talked about that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do?
ここ乗れるかもしれん。無理かな。
No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to.
あー、無理か。
I have to.
いや、いけそう。おお。
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a hole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
左ドアに入りましたと。OK です。あ、月さん今回。
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
あ。
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task.
さっきのやつもさ、頑張れば乗れた気がしたんだけど。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
なんかバグ技でないかな。ジャンプする方法みたいな。これもうダメだから。
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
もうダメかな。あー、ダメか。
That means choosing responsibly and always putting the
なんかないか
story
な、
first.
ジャンプする方
I'm
法。
quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
いや、無理か。なんか、さっきちょっと乗れそうだったんだけど。あ、戻ってるわ。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer
これ
there.
下行ってないよな、そういえば。あ、
Coming
下
to
行けなくなってる。
Stanley walked upstairs
下
to
行
his
けなく
boss's
なってる。
office.
うわ、これドアもあかんくなってるわ。え？
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
なんか全然ちゃうけど。
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who
ボイス
orchestrated
レ
this
シーバー。
until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up. But now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
ナイトシャーク115。これどう言ったんだ。ナイトシャーク 115?
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark
ボイスレシーバー。
115.
これじゃないの？
Into the receiver right there on the wall.
ナイトシャーク115。もしかしてマイク繋がってない？もしかしてそういう設定もいるこれ。違う？あんの？こんな設定。なくない？
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
どういうこと？ナイト。
Okay, fine. You're not gonna do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
すぐ切れるやん。
Two open doors. He entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this.
しょぼくれちゃったよ。
The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay.
自分の選択が正しいかどうか考える時間。
Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time.
選択をしなくなった世界。あ。終わった。いや。
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his
待って、
life.
こっちよ。これいけないか。ダメか。これさ、行かないって選択肢もあんのかな。あ、もう閉まってるか、さすがに。次やるか。あとは、階段を下に行くルート行ってないね、まだ。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door.
あとあれか、ちょっと待ってね。こっちのルート全部終わらしたいんだ。こっ
way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
ち行
well.
って、
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
こっちってあそこ左に戻るルート行ってないん
incredible
ですよ。
room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on
これ
his
これこれ
left.
これこれこれこれ。
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
いや、気になる。
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He
ル
wanted
ー
to
トから
wander
さらに
about
外れまし
and
た。
get even further off track.
ここから戻る
So
ために
now, in
は
order to get back, he needed to go
左
from here it's left.
レフト No ダメか。
Oh no.
Oh.
No, it's to the right. My mistake. No,
Huh?
no, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's
じゃあ壁に
Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute?
こすりつけとこう。もう開いた瞬間行こ
Now let's see. We went down right,
う。
left,
右
down,
左下左
left,
右
right. Yep. Okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
どこか。うわ乗りた。乗れないかな。あここに繋がるんだ。
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to Oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely
ストーリー
unusable.
が完全にダメにな
How
った。
about rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
あ戻された。ここにいるっていうルートはないのかな。あれか、ちょっと一回階段の下見るか。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
いや、あとあれか、一回右経由して、
When Stanley... Wait.
Huh?
Wait, what? No, I restarted. I
私
swear
は
I
リスタート
definitely
した。
restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something
なんか
change?
変わってしまった
Stanley,
モニターの部屋にいた
did
時
you
何かいじっ
change
たりしたか
anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere
お
or...
なんかした
Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find...
また分岐増えた。パソコンいじったからかな。モニターいじっちゃダメだった？左壁の法則。あれなんかここ見たことあるな。
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we just...
何度やりましても進展のない気がするが。
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
あ、戻されちゃった。あ、モニターいじっちゃダメだったんだ。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a
どうしようか
memo.
な。
Okay, yep,
あれ？
it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came
あれ？
from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
機械して何か見逃してないか近めに行く。なんかあったっけ？あ、あれ？エレベーターエンドの続き？あ、開くんだ。なるほど、開いたり閉めたりできるんだ今回。
Aha! I knew we'd miss something.
ス
The
トーリーが
story.
来るぞ。
Here it comes. No, wait.
あれ？
Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
あれ？なんか全然違うとこ来たけど。
Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about
忘れてしまったか
this?
らこんなのはどうだ
You win!
You win!
Congratulations!
お、勝った
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job. Oh no.
違うか
No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
また一緒かなあれ
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
変われんか行けと言われると抗いたくなるあ無理かなもうあれこっちの道ん
No, I'm done. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
ああもうダメなんだもう従うしかないんだこれないなさすがにもうないかで全部のドア触れておこう
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no
だからなんか
destination
哲学的な
still a
哲学的な
story?
こと言われてるんだけど
Simply by the act of moving forward, are we
あ、い
implying
け
a
る
journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life
ダメか
itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of
いや
that existence,
もうダメだ
right?
先回りされてるちゃん
Now,
と
if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
うわでっか音ストップうるさいあでも結構いい音楽かもしれん
Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
あらあの詩だ
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make
この
sure
詩だは
you
後の
study
伏
it
線です
closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
伏線何の
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
あ
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Well, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it.
どうしてもあそこに行かしたいんだね
Restart.
戻ってきた
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
あ、こっち
Now, yes, this is exciting.
新しいルート。
Just me and Stanley
新しいス
forging
トー
a
リーを
new
作り出
path,
そう。
a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be?
あれ
Go
待って、
wild.
これ。
Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
あれああ、見ちゃった。新しいストーリー。もう全然予測できんね、このゲーム。
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
それは無視よ。あ、来た。
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision.
このチャンスを
From
無
here,
駄に
the
してはいけ
story
ない。
is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
おお。
Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds
ドアの
with the
表側と逆側
counter-inverted
の
reverse
裏
door's
側の反
origin.
対側。
So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic.
なんか急
Come,
に
Stanley, our destiny awaits.
うまくいかないから、なんか味方になった。あ、
Oh, hold up, what's this?
混乱エンド。
Confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to
ナレー
decide?
ターも
Why don't
操
I
ら
get
れ
a
て
say
る。
in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going
私は
on.
ゲームをリ
I
ス
don't
タ
want
ー
to be
トし
trapped
ない。
like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
おお、びっくりした。あ、強制リセットされた。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
これで終わりかな、エンド、今の。あれでも、
When
ドア開
Stanley
いてる。
came to a set of
あ、
two
違うか。
open doors, he entered the door on his
あとは
left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first
こ
open
れ
door on his
通
left.
って、
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the
Elevator
opposite
無視し
door,
て
and got back on track.
オフィス行って、
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of
階段かな。
Stanley decided to go up to his
これ
boss's
下だね。
office. Coming to a
これ行ってないま
staircase,
だ。
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
危ないか。おお、
But Stanley just couldn't do
しかし
it.
スタンリーではでき
He
ませんでし
considered
た。
the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might
い
be
や、ま
fired
だ
for
まだ
that.
頑張ってんな。
And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers
あれ？
blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for
あ
no
れ？
reason
戻って
at
きた？
all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations.
ようなことに気
For
づきました。
example, why couldn't he see his feet when he
どう
looked
して足元を見
down?
ても自分の足が見え
Why
ないん
did
だろう。
doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
確かに。
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply
確かに
repeating?
勝手にドア閉まるわ。
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm
ダメか。
dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream.
これは全部夢なんだ。
What a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation.
あ、無理か。
His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field.
星空を飛び回る
And
姿
it
を
too
思い
appeared.
描
It
きま
was
した。
so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
そうやね。
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just...
やばい、混乱
He
してる
would。prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to
あ
himself.
絶対起きんやろ、
I'm
これ。
through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
残念だね。
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
え、そして全ては暗闇に消えてしまいました。
This is the story of a woman named
これは
Mariella.
マリエラ？
Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
だ
She
って
rose,
新しい物語
got
始まった。
dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
終わった。アイデアスさんコンコン。あれ、ナレーションコン。
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti.
すまん、何言ってるか分かんないんだ。ナレーション。
Stanley came to a set of two open doors. He entered the door on his left.
あの電話重要だったかな。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hope coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
あとこれも気になるけどね。あれ開かないわ。ああ開いた。これが何書いてあるかとか。あとこっちのエレベーターは
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Alas, it was not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random that no man could ever hope to guess it. 2845. Statistically, nearly impossible to guess blindly, ever. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
よいしょ。あれなんかあんな文章じゃなかったと思う。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
いや、さすがに分岐ないかな。
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
あとなんだ？この最後のとこでオフにしないルートとかあるのかな？
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe
I don't know,
it couldn't be true. Had
一緒かな
Stanley really been under someone's control all
一緒な
this
気が
time?
してきた。
Was this the only reason he
ちゃうか
was
な
happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
ほい。
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation.
一緒か。
Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this
待て
very
よ。
place.
待って。
And as the
こ
cold
こ行って
reality
ない
of
ぞ。
his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
待って、この番号やってないな。待って。なんだこれ。1、2、あれかな ?3、4と押すのかな。待ってよ。あった。あ、5?3 はあったあったあったあった。3。444。4ラスト1ボタン。なんかあんのかなこれ。なんか走りたいんだけど走れないんだよねこのゲーム。5 9回6あったりする？あだよ6なんか見逃してるかな。1、2なんでしょう。いやないかないな。でここでオフにしたけどオンは
And when at last he found the source of the room's power. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that
Oh.
what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just
緊急起爆
initiated
シス
the
テムを作動して
network's
しまったことに気づ
emergency
きます。
detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper
どんな
DNA
どんな機密施
identification,
設やん。
nuclear detonators
証
are
拠隠
set
滅
to
すぎるでしょ。
explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say
もしかしてこれ逃げろってこと？
2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is
マジか。
much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But
こ
what
こでいるのか
precious
な。
moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about
3
me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're
関係ないかな。
All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course,
私が
that
彼
was
らを消
merely
し去った
in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
関係ないか。
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
これオフにしたら終わっちゃうんだろうな。
This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go
次の
around
物語は
will
もっ
be
といいものを
even
作る自信があ
better.
る。
My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why
に
not?
あ、
These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now?
あると思
Or
う
did
や
you
ん。
just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These
バレてる。
numbered buttons.
バレてる。
No, these colored
バレて
buttons.
る。
Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle.
なんかないの
30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing.
427?
Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me.
いやでも
All a
7
part
って
of
ない
the
か。
joke. And believe me,
あ、
I
や
will
ばい。
be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say
あ、やばい。
happily ever after.
お。え、これ。ないかな爆弾解除ルート。大事だ。
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
なんか文章違ったな。あ、違う。両開きカードはすごいな。変わっとるね。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
もうなくない？
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might come into a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean, he wondered. Desperate for answers, he began turning the room over looking for clues that might unravel the situation, until at last he discovered a keypad behind.
失礼。攻略見るか。でもなんか一番最初に行ったルートが一番やばそうだったよね、このゲーム。待ってよ、なんかないのかな。窓からね、そう、窓触れないからね。はい。指示通り動くエンド、爆発エンドでしょ。階段降りるでしょ。エスケープ行った、混乱行った、電話エンド終わった、現実の人間エンド。ハーフレンド終わった。 はいはいはい。行った。さっきのさ、4時間ぐらいボタン押しとけみたいなやつ。あれずっと押すルートあるみたい。ベイビーゲームを4時間ミスすることなく続けるっていうエンディングがあるらしい。やばいでしょ。エンディング。あ、これ、あ、これ、なんかめっちゃ面白そうなのあるよ。脱出ポントエントってのある。ちょっとこれやってみよっか。ちょっと待ってね。これやるか。脱出ポットエンドいきます。
The boss's desk.
ナレーターの指示通りに動いて、上司の部屋に入った瞬間、ドアが閉まる前の部屋、ドアが閉まる前の部屋の外に出る。その後自分の部屋の手前まで戻り、新たに出現した扉に入る。OK。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
お願いしよう。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
こう行って、ここで入って、
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any.
入った瞬間か。ごめん。いや、待って、他もあるな、これ。臆病者エンド。最初の部屋を出る前にドアを閉じる。これやってみるか。
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy.
冒険ができなかった。
Stanley waited. Hours passed. Then days. Had
何
years
年も
gone
経っただ
by?
ろうか。
He no longer had the ability to
誰に
tell.
もはやそれを知る
But
こ
the
とす
one
ら
thing
で
he
きま
knew
せん
for
でした。
sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
引きこもりエンド。待って、窓の外行くエンドあるな、これ。え434のデスクに椅子経由で乗り窓に歩いていく434
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
あ、本当だ。
At first, Stanley assumed he'd
最
broken
初は自分が
the
ゲームを
map
壊して
until
し
he
まった
heard
と思っ
this
たスタンリーでし
narration
たが、
and realized it was part of the game's
ゲーム
design
デザインの
all
一部
along.
とあることを
He then
知りま
praised
し
the
た。
game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
このギャグにうんざりした。 Yes.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like right now.
飽きたらリスタートできますよって言われてるわ。
Now would also be an appropriate time to quit.
この瞬間も次
Any
の
of
瞬
these
間も
points and
やめ
so
ときで
many,
す。
many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly.
なんか始まったんだけど。
But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable.
普通にいい曲なんだ
You
け
too will become quite unbearable. ど。まんじゅうがうまい。終わりかおまんじゅう食ってたわ。ちょっと今がチャンスだと思っちゃったね。 All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he
じゃあ
entered
ちょっ
the
と
door
脱
on his
出
left.
ポットエンド行くか。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
入った
Coming to a
瞬間って書い
staircase,
てあるから
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
本当
office.
に一瞬なんかもね。行くよ。はいはいはいはい。
Stepping
きたー。やばい、字幕が。やばい、喋らんくなっちゃった。これで、こんなに髪落ちたっけ？あ、確かに落ちてなかった気もする。で、これで、あ、これだ。ここの部屋に入るんだって。あ、ナレーター今上司の部屋にいる。あ、そういうことおやばい、完全にバグってる。やばい、ずーっと上があるんだけど。756。あれこれ、ループしてない ?757。ああ、いや、そんなことないか。上がってるわ。これエレベーター使えないのか使えないのか。 めっちゃあるけど、階段。758。あー、でも、あと2回ぐらいか。そうか。まあ、ナレーター置いて僕は逃げるよ。あとね、もう1個あるけど、あともう1個あるんだけど、真っ暗すぎて見え、いいのかなこれ。お、来た。お、んどういうこと？エスケープポットに入ることで全手順が自動で開始されます。あ、そういうことエスケープポットの前にある注意書きみたいなのに、エスケープポットに入ることで全手動が自動で開始されます。駐車一時停止は不可能です。脱出シークエンスを最後まで正しく実行するには、ナレーターとプレイヤーの両方がその場にいる必要があります。で、そういうことね。で、上司の部屋に置いてきたから終わりってことか。あとは、天国エンド。特定のコンピューター1に入力をする。419。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
419。で、スタート。423。こんなんわからんよな。423。あー、でもやっぱ、なんか、一応ヒントあるんだ。上司の部屋にあるコンピューター。
Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it?
本当にスタリ
Is
のオ
this
フィスか？
Stanley's office? When Stanley came to a set of two open
やっぱ
doors,
微
he
妙に
entered
文
the
章
door
変わ
on
っ
his
とる
left.
ね。これで、
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to
ラ
a
イブラリーで
staircase,
プロパテ
Stanley
ィを
walked
起動して
upstairs to
入
his
力す
boss's
ると
office.
入れるエンディングとかもあるみたい。で、上司の部屋の前にあるパソコン、これか。リセット。434のデスクにあるコンピューター。434。
All of his co-workers were gone.
434。
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard
あ、これ
Stanley
乗れるんだっ
looked,
け？
he couldn't find a trace of his
あれ？
co-workers.
あれ？あれ？あ、触れた触れた。で、スタンリーのコンピューターが触る。なにこれは。天国エンドらしいんだけど。あ、ボタンがいっぱい押せるよってこと？押し放題で楽しいねってこと？ そういうこと？スタンリーにとっては天国って意味これ。ひどいエンドだな。あとは、あ？スチームの起動状態からやらんとダメ？ラストのエンディングはね、まず、本当にこれ、もう一回ゲーム切るね。ゲームを切って、待ってね、スチームの起動方法を変えなきゃダメみたい、ゲーム自体の。そんなゲームある？何？プロパティ開いて起動方法？起動設定か。管理か。どうやってやるんだっけ？なんか昔やったことあったんだけどな。どうやってやるんだっけ？これか。起動方法に、これを入力して、ゲームを起動する。コンソールにごめん、ちょっとね。あれ、ちょっと待って。画面裏に戻れない。コンソール、出たね、コンソール。これに、これを入力して、入力すると。
Stanley, this is me being serious. In fact, this is my serious room. It's where I come to be serious. That
私が
table
真
is
面
the
目になる
most
ための
serious
部
table
屋。
I could find. I looked at many, many tables, hundreds of tables. It's possible I looked at over 1,000 tables. I honestly don't know. The specific number isn't as important as the understanding that of all tables I looked at,
最
this
も
one
真面目な
is
テーブ
the
ル。
most serious. I relate this story to impress upon you the extent to which this is the most serious room I have, which is why I brought you here. You just tried to activate server
今
cheats,
君はチー
which
ト
of
モードを
course
有効に
runs
し
the
ようと
risk
し
of
ました
breaking the
ね。
entire game. You've got no respect for the strict order of
そうい
scripted
うこと。
narrative events, and I just can't have that. It's time to get serious, Stanley. No jokes, no games. Outside of this room, I might be more tolerant of those things, but now we're in
な
the
るほどね。
room. Which is why I'm subjecting you to the most serious punishment I can think of. 100 billion trillion years standing here in the serious room. Perhaps after that, we can talk about the severity of your actions and whether you've learned anything. But until then, serious room, go.
反省部屋エンドってこと？チートをしようとして。そんなエンドあんの？すごいな。もうすべてをなんか、把握してるんだね、このゲームは。あと何？ホワイトボードエンド。新しくゲームを開始する際に時々青みがかった部屋に出ることがある。そこで426のドアを開ける。OK です。新しくゲームを始めるってこの、あれかな？このリスタートじゃダメなのかな？これでいい？で、426の部屋に入れって書いてあったから、これを繰り返すってことだね。あ、428になってる。あれ？
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to
あれ？
go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
428だったっけさっき。あ、これか、426。いや、多分違うかな。 青みがかった部屋ってなんだろう。あ、428か。ごめん。
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like?
さ
It
っ
was
き
a
のがそうだっ
computer,
た。あ、
perhaps,
そうい
and
う
a
こと。
painting. Was it a painting or a film?
やべね、青みがかった部屋がわかんないな。これ青い青
Just a step through this door.
あれこんな紙あったっ
Stanley
け？
thought to himself, That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
これランダムなのかな、この紙の量。待ってよ、426だよね。ああ、426のドアだ。で、数が426だった。あ、本当に？じゃあ。ちょっとリセマラのお時間です。よいしょ。いや、待って、一応行った方がいいのかな。
Already, this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would.
ちなみに最近、知り合いのね、歌ってみたの絵描いたりとか、歌ってみたの動画
All
作っ
of
たり
his
してて、
co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
なんか
Stanley decided
毎
to go
毎
to the
日なん
meeting
か
room.
朝まで
Perhaps
起きて
he
る
had。simply missed.
結構ね、なんかずっとやってる、なんか。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
まあ、
Stanley
どっ
decided
か
to
で
go to the
どっか
meeting
で上
room.
がりますよね。
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
またリツイートします。よいしょ。青みがかった部屋がわかんないね。ああ。
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself, and
ああ、で、そう。あと、あれだ、クリスマスの企画の、ホラーゲーム ASMR やるんだけど、なんかね、なんか、
all of his co-workers were
今
gone.
のこれぐらいの
Stanley
声で、
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed it.
喋っただけでも音割れするらしいんだよ。だから、マジで、ホラーゲームだから叫んだ瞬間、音割れってレベルじゃないかもしれないんでね、よろしくお願いいたします。
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he
だ
found
笑
a
った
new
だけで
space
音
he
割れするん
felt
じゃない
safe
か
in,
な。マジで爆音になるんでね、ちょっと、よろしくね。出ないな、部屋。
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
やっぱさ、やっぱ426だったよね、さっき入った時。なんな、ちょっと失敗したかもな。たまにってどれぐらいなんだろう ?428。
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible?
よし。ね、その作った歌の動画は、多分1個は近日中かも。もう
All of his
1個は
co-workers
ま
were
だ。
gone. What could it mean?
さらにもう1個は、
Stanley decided to go to
さら
the
にまだ
meeting
かも。
room. Perhaps he had simply missed.
そう。動画を2個携わって、イラストを2枚描いて、で、僕の名前でやってないやつが、あと3個ぐらいあります。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
なんか
Stanley decided to go to the
一生
meeting
なん
room.
かやってる。
Perhaps
あれ、ダメだね。
the
もう
meeting room.
違うのかな。まあ、とりあえず、エンディング回収のために、ひたすらやろうか。ダメだね。これどれぐらいの確率なんだろう。7個だよね。7個ぐらい。まあ、そのうち3つ ?4 つ ?4 つは僕、もう黒曜いなりじゃないので、あれなんですけど、 あ、ダメだ。待って。新しくゲームを開始するために時々青みがかった部屋に出ることがある。あ、これじゃない？ちょっと青くない？そんなことないね。わかんない。
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself, and
ダメかもです。いやー、
soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain
わからん。
started, and if it did,
一応行
it
った方がいいの
stopped
かな。
shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would
ご用意なりじゃないのはちょっとね、ダメなんだよね。ダメ
all
だ。
of his co-workers were gone.
ダメだ。
What did it mean?
出
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed.
出ないな。こんだけリセットしても出ないのかな。
Stanley knew the office layout like
あ、本当にやっぱ出た先だったんだ。ちょっと暗めだったわ。赤い部屋入るエンド。見てないな。あれどうやって右行って、あれか。降りたとこか。それ行く
all
か
of。his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he
426 は
had
ちょっと
simply
諦
missed a
めま
memo.
す。それだけやってやめようかな、今日は。
When Stanley came to a set of two open,
こっち行くでしょ？
this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge
行くでしょ？
first, just to admire it. Ah, yes,
止まんな
truly
い
a
よ、僕
room
は。
worth admiring. But
行くでしょ？
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
で、ここの、
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years
これ
ago.
乗って、
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
これ飛び降
There's
りると。
someone you've been neglecting.
よし。
Really?
で、
I was
怒
in
る
the
と。
middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look,
で、
let me
赤い
prove
部
it.
屋。
Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
いいでしょ
Oh, thank God you are
う。お、
willing to
神を
listen
感
to
謝し
me.
ます。
You see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time. The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we
あれ
just
でも、
stopped.
ループしてない？
And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
お。GO。
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here.
おお。
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
綺麗だ
If we
な。
just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
急に出れるやん。
No, wait. Where are you going?
待ってくれ、どこに行くつもりだ従わないスタンリー。
Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
行くね。
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
あ、そういうエンドか。シュッ。
No! Oh, thank God. No. No, no, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If
死ぬまで
you
落下
die,
するエン
we'll
ドってこ
both
と？
go back. Why are you doing this?
おう。おう。
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. can you do that? My God. Is this
君は
really
そんな
how
に
much
私
you
のゲーム
dislike
が
my
嫌いなの
game?
か。
That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
そうだよ。
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all.
情緒不安定だな。
This one is yours. Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
かわいそうに。やるか。426ガチャ。さすがに 10% ぐらいはあるやろ。ああ、来た。
All of his co-workers were
全然
gone.
違うじゃん。
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
え、違うかなこれ、今の続きかなあ、いや違うわ。これだわ。ホワイトボードエンディング。Welcome to the ホワイトボードエンディング。コンソールバック。
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference.
足がつ
Nor did it
わけでも
advance the
ありま
story
せん
in
で
any
した。
way.
あ、コンソールバック。これ426のドアを開ける。コンソールバック。これで進めばいいってことかな。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
あれ、
he
終わり
entered
か
the
な
door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either.
一緒や
Feeling
ね
a。wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
終わりかなということで、あ、これ、よく見たら、ここの画面なんだ。ということで、以上かな。わあ、やばい。めっちゃ寒い。全然関係ないけど。ラッキーエンディング、あー、なるほどね。ということで、ザ・スタンリー・パラブル。普通に面白かったな。てかもうナレーションの人の情緒がやばいね、毎回。確かにね、なんかレビューすごかったんだよね、このゲーム。よいしょ。ということで、なんか、あれかな、多分 YouTube とか見たら、多分4時間押し続けたエンディング多分あると思うんで、ぜひね、そちらも見てください。ということで、本日もおつこんでした。明日はまた明日、ツイートしますんで、またね、よろしくお願いいたします。ということで、バイバイ。よいしょ。